In this session we're going to have a look at the sampling area. The sampling area sits inside the range building and the product, with all the product development, range planning facilities, and it can be reached by clicking on the sampling button at the end there. The first thing we see is the control panel. If I just close these down first. This is a list. This is a list of the outstanding of the sample order history. This will be defaulted. At the moment it's not, but it will be defaulted, so it will show the outstanding sample orders only when you first go in there. But each block, each line, if you like, represents a sample order, and you can have a look at the style through the mouse over on there, and you've got all the information here on the style itself. If you want to drill into the style record, there's a drill down directly from that grid into the full style detailed information and access to all the tabs on the style record. There's a facility here, there's a latest estimate. So if, for example, on this sample order here, we've got a requested dispatch date 1st of August, which is obviously gone. If the factory sort of gives us a latest estimate date, then we can go in and amend that. So we might say, all right, they've changed it to Thursday the 24th next week. Save that in there. So that then is visible to, obviously, anybody who has access to the office, and there are plans to build an automatic email facility into the system, so whoever that sample is for, there will be an option to send an auto email to the customer or whoever, advising them that the sample will be a little bit later than planned. And we're also adding a facility there to add notes, so they'll be able to put some notes on as to why there is a delay, etc. Here on the delay column, we use a double sort of approach. One is looking at the status of the order on the original requested dispatch date, and one is looking at the status of the order based on the latest estimate. So if we look at this one here, on the original date we're 81 days late, but we're now already 3 days late on the last estimate. Obviously, if you put a new estimate in, that status of that second one will change, but the people looking at this can obviously see that it is well overdue on the original date. On there's one there that's early, which we'd like to see against all rows, I'm sure. And across here you've got facilities to edit, delete, view the actual sample order information. So if I want to have a look at that sample order detail with the size breakdowns and such, I can do that. A little bit of a delay there, not sure why. Again, you've got your range plan, your slots, everything ties back to the range plan and the different slots, so I can get rid of that and see. So there I can see that we've got 5 pairs of size 29 and 2 pairs of size 30.5. Sure, that's a real size, to be honest, but total quantity 7 pairs, so I can see the breakdown of that information. I can also print the sample order whenever I want. I can reprint it. I can print the barcode labels again if I need barcode labels. And just moving across here, there is also these bulk printing facilities. So if I want to print barcode labels for a whole batch of orders, I can do that. I can do that in here, so I can select all, or I can just select one order or specific orders. I can use the filters at the top to filter that list down to focus on a particular factory or a particular customer or whatever. And the system automatically defaults to a specific order quantity or number of labels. Again, you can change that. So if you receive some samples in and there's 10 pairs and 8 pairs have been labelled by the factory, but 2 pairs that there's no labels on, they've fallen off or whatever, I can just go in here and change that quantity to whatever quantity I want, and that's the number of labels that would print. Similarly on the sample orders, this defaults to the previous day because for William Lamb the offices tend to work one day behind the customer, so the orders that the overseas offices want to see are those that were created yesterday in the UK. So in simple terms, the overseas offices come into here, they see all the orders for yesterday, they click the select all, they print those orders out, and the process begins. If again, there's all the filters in there, so if I want to print an old order or a batch of orders from a week ago, a month ago, whatever, then I can do that through that particular facility. Okay, so for sample dispatching, when samples are received in the offices from the factories, we create what's called a sample receipt issue. This is specific to, it can be office specific or it can be individual users in an office specific. In the William Lamb China office, this is maintained by probably 10 different people. Each one has responsibility for a different factory. If I want to add a new receipt, just tell it who I've been received by. I'm using it's based on a barcode scanner, so we can set the scan to either be one scan to be one pair and one scan to be half a pair. So basically the first thing you do is you get the physical sample from the factory. It's got the barcode label on, you scan that label and it will bring up the details for that style. Obviously I don't have a barcode scanner, so I'm going to have to select it manually, which you can do. So if I go into the manual, it'll give me a list of all the different sample orders. I can see what's outstanding, so I'll just select that one, and the system will go off and it will bring up the details of that order. So again, I can see what the sample should look like. Hopefully I've got something in my hand that looks very similar to that photograph there. I've got the colour variants, so on. I've got the sample size, I've got a little bit of detail on everything else. So, and I can change the receive size. So we've ordered 10. Sometimes the factories for some reasons can't always deliver that size, so if they send a different size we can change that. If I've got my quantity wrong, if I forgot to change that, I can edit that at that point. And if I know the carton I'm going to put it into, basically in the office there will be empty cartons that are pre-numbered and that are set up for dispatching to specific locations. So the user, once they've scanned it, they take the sample across and place them in the correct carton, and then they have to register that carton number back on the system to say which carton this sample went into. And they can either do it at this stage or they can do it later in the process. So if I confirm that, it adds it, So this down here is I'm building a list of the samples that I'm responsible for and that I'm sending to wherever. I'll just do one more. That's a bit faster on there. So yeah, hopefully if everything's hopefully you can see if you're doing this by barcode scanning, you're not having to go into this screen all the time, and the process is obviously faster. So there you see I've scanned 3 samples into the system, into the carton. One area we are looking to improve is here, this carton number. Obviously what we need to do now is we need to identify which carton this was placed into, and if we drill into there, it'll show us a list of the open cartons, the cartons that are available at that point. So I can update to which carton that these samples have gone into. Remember to save it. And it may be that the third sample is not, for some reason we're holding it back, we're not actually putting it in a carton. So I can leave it, the system will just process anything that has a carton reference to it. And at that point there's also the notes. You can add notes at that point, so if there was some issues, no idea, whatever, you just fill that in. And again you've got this facilities to actually highlight text and to emphasize things at the other. Again, you can add that note, and you can also email it if you want to send an email ahead of the samples, or ahead of the person going onto the system and reading that note. You can do. So we've got some notes on there, and that's basically it. So you've finished that. At that point you would come out of there a second, and I can go in and out of that list as many times as I want. So I'm basically going in, I'm adding to it. I might get some samples in the morning, I might get some more at lunchtime, I might get some more at evening, so I can go in and out of that 2 or 3 times, and at any point I can go in and I can just view it, or I can go back in and I can edit it. On there, so sorry, I'm just can't remember where we closed that receipt off, but so there you go. And that's being done, that can be done by one person, it become done by many people at the same time. So you're basically building all these lists up of the different samples. You've then got your carton list, so you've got a list of actual cartons with a status. Again, this will be changed to default to outstanding only, but you can see the status. So you've got fully received, that's been fully received in the UK. For some reason that one's only been partially received, and these 3 at the bottom are still open, they've not been closed yet, so that assumes there is still space in those cartons. If I want to actually look at the contents of any carton, even if it's been fully received, I can click on the carton field, and I can see there that there were there were 2 samples and 1 extra item. So we put some documents in that carton being sent to a specific person. So the extras tend to be things like documents, material swatches, part pieces of material for special testing or whatever. Yeah. And it's the same then, and you can print a packing list out from that particular carton at any time for open, closed. So you've got a packing list there that just gives you a record of the samples and the extras and so on and so forth. Similarly across here you've got the consignment, so that carton would have been sent out with other cartons as part of a consignment. If I drill into the consignment number, well, there was just that one carton according to that. So that normally, or not normally, that would give you a list of all the cartons. In this case there's only one, but if there were 10 cartons, it would list the 10 cartons that were in that particular dispatch. And they will all be referenced to a specific airway bill. Obviously that's a test information, it's not a real number, but normally it would be. That so, and you create new cartons, just add a brand new carton. The first thing you select is what is the destination of that carton, where is it going. Majority of ours go to William Lamb Wakefield office. I'll not fill that all in, but that'll just populate an address, and then you fill in some header information down here, save it, and then that becomes then an empty carton down here that's available for people to assign samples to on there. So that's sort of information that you put on there. Okay, and the consignment issues, these are the actual consignments, so these are where you record all your cartons that are being dispatched on there. If I'm going to do a brand new one, I'm doing that, and that is then there's no cartons available, but that would normally give me a list of all the cartons that are available that are flagged for that destination, and I can add all the cartons that are closed. The cartons have to be closed, by the way, so any closed carton that's flagged for William Lamb Wakefield office, when I click add id, they would be on the list. I can select them either one at a time or select all, put them into the consignment, choose the carrier, which again that'll default to DHL because that's all William Lamb use, and then the airway bill references can be added either there and then or can be added later as they become available, and you can then print off a sample invoice. So you've got your packing list from your individual cartons, and you then, once you've pulled all your cartons together into a consignment, you can print the sample invoice off that will list by carton. It will list the actual contents or what's in that consignment. That's just one carton. If there were two cartons, then the second carton details would begin here and be listed, and so on and so forth. Okay. So that's the dispatch. At the receiving end, at the William Lamb office end, we've got this sample receiving facility, where again they're just receiving cartons. So because we've identified the samples in a carton, not sure if there's any available. Okay, so there's only one carton available. We've received it in the office. I open it up. It gives me the header details. It tells me what I've got in, or what I should have in that carton. And again, I'm scanning the samples out of that carton. So the receiver opens a carton, picks a sample up, scans the barcode label. The system again populates that section with the style details, and reduces the number of pairs in the carton, so it basically reduces down as they scan them back out of the carton. So it's kind of a self-reconciling process. The items here, I'm not sure why that's happened, but that's not probably a very good demonstration, but hopefully you sort of get the sort of feel of what's happening on the sample receiving side, and I'll okay, so that's a quick look at the sampling. Not a very good look really, but obviously I'll get some proper data set up and do another video that shows it a little bit better. Okay, thank you.